everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host for GoLocal Prov, Laura Afonso, and we are live here at the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center in downtown Providence. And we are starting off our food segment this week with a very special guest, Miss Julie Ann Sagir, also known as Julie Tabbouleh. Julie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Of course, of course. Now, Julie, you are basically the queen of Lebanese cuisine. You have your Julie Tabbouleh's Lebanese Kitchen, aired nationally on PBS. You are an award-winning author. So really kudos to you, and thank you so much for joining us today to talk about your cooking experiences.
Oh, thank you, Laura, for having me. And hello, everyone in Rhode Island and New England. I'm really happy to be joining you all today.
Of course, of course. So let's start talking about how you got to where you are today, and how your experiences led to you becoming this queen of Lebanese cuisine.
Oh my gosh. It's a very long story, but I'll try to give you a short, abbreviated version. It was actually in the summer of 2007. I was staying a month-long visit with my grandmother, my mom's mom, in Lebanon. I was born in the United States of America, first generation and full-blooded Lebanese American. So it was my first visit to Lebanon, and meeting my aunts and my cousins and a lot of family members I had never ever met before, and obviously being in Lebanon for the very first time. So it was really that experience. I didn't know it while I was there, but upon my return, it was really, I always say that I dream of this for me, God did, like that I found my calling. It was like, okay, I'm going to teach people how to make Lebanese and Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, respectively, cuisine, and I'm going to be the representative for it. And at the time, with the inception of like 2007, I was working on what I wanted to do in 2008. There was no representation of really little, I would say. I don't want to say no, but very little representation of my culture's cuisine, here in the U.S. So, so off I went.
Right. Yeah. Well, what a great story! Really being able to take your very rich culture and share it with the whole country, and being able to have all of us be able to experience a little bit of Lebanon right in your kitchen.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I really wanted to do. I knew that people loved our food and our, the people. I always came across people that had, wonderful Lebanese neighbors or college roommates or just different friends, of theirs. And they loved the food. They just didn't know the first thing about making it, where to begin. And that's where I came in. I started off with, I want to teach people. That was really like my short mission statement. I want to teach people how to make Lebanese cuisine. And that's how I started. I started teaching cooking classes. I moved back from New York to the Finger Lakes region where we are now, beautiful, agriculturally rich area, and I started teaching cooking classes. And actually this April will be 10 years since I launched Julie Tabbouleh. I launched officially in 2009.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So you had a great run of sharing these recipes with all of us. So thank you so much. And I was doing a little bit of reading about you and your initial segment of your cookbook, and I loved that you said you were watching these chefs that may not have been Lebanese, but they were making traditional Lebanese recipes, and you're like, that's not how you do that. Like, being able to share your own experiences from home, from your mom, and being able to have the right approach or the most authentic approach to cooking these dishes.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's great that all different chefs and cooks want to explore different cultures.
Yeah.
Encourage that. For me, growing up Lebanese, living, breathing, eating Lebanon, and all things Lebanese, I really wanted it to come from an authentic place, from my grandmother to my mom, third generation, passed down, and I really wanted to make not only my family proud, but I felt, a lot of responsibility in terms of, like, I was representing my culture in the country of Lebanon, and I wanted to be the very best that I could of authentically making our food, the traditional recipes, but introducing them in a fresh way. to my American audiences. So,
Definitely.
so it was, I'm just very proud to be able to do this, and continue to do it. So
yes, and I love your motto, "Fresh is best." So talk to me a little bit about how you incorporate freshness and wholesome mentality into your cooking.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it just really is who I am and how I grew up eating. My mom always had a garden, since I was a baby and just always out there, seeing her gardening. And and again, coming from my grandmother in Lebanon, having gardens, and we had orchards in Lebanon and, growing everything ourselves, homegrown, so really it's just inherent. And that's what I've always known. So, and I love the way it makes me feel when I eat fresh foods pretty much every day. I really do not eat anything that's, frozen or, just
loaded with like preservatives and all of those like yucky things that we don't need. We can leave those all out.
Right. And the fresh food really fuels you and gives you just like such great energy. And I wanted to incorporate, because that's who I am. So it was just natural for me to, make that part of my Julie Tripoli brand, and Fresh is Best. And obviously both names are very easy to remember.
Of course. So perfect.
Yeah, and they kind of drive, everything that I do, and not only the foods that I prepare with in terms of Fresh is Best, but I feel like my approach, my style of cooking, the way that I present myself, I hope to be like an inspiration in my fresh outlook, on life and on cooking and sharing with others, so
of course.
It transcends beyond the food.
Absolutely. And how very fitting, because February is American Heart Month, and we all know that we want to keep a healthy heart by having, fueling our body with wholesome foods. So how very fitting that, Fresh is Best can fit in with American Heart Month.
I know, I'm wearing red for
amazing
American Heart Month, and Go Red for Women, and also men.
Yes.
I mean, with, heart disease and strokes and just all of these, other really major health concerns looming in our country. It's just really wonderful to be able to offer, my cooking show and my cookbook filled with fresh, healthy, heart healthy, I should say, wholesome Mediterranean, foods. Often, we hear about Mediterranean diet and Mediterranean way of life, and Lebanese cuisine really follows and really is a leader, not just following really in terms of living and eating a Mediterranean lifestyle, mostly plant-based,
yes.
Vegetables, legumes, beans, chickpeas, little animal fat, a lot of olive oil, fresh lemon and herbs. So yes. It really does fit in with people, those that are really trying to change their lifestyle a little bit here and there, or also just going, okay, let me really start eating a Mediterranean way, and trying to make healthier choices. So hopefully my book can help out with that.
Of course. So tell me a little bit about Mama. Your mother is very, very involved with so much of what you do, whether it's on the show and being an inspiration, being a mentor. Tell me about the involvement of your mother and how she acts as an inspiration for you.
Oh my gosh, she's everything. Like, oh,
yes. Oh,
yeah. I mean, she's obviously my mother, my mentor, my master chef. She taught me everything I know. I went straight to her when I, sought to do what I'm doing now. And I said, please teach me everything you know and more and then some. And every day I'm still learning, that's what I love. There's no ceiling,
There's no limit,
but
yeah.
she's very involved, not only with teaching me, the real way to cook Lebanese, but obviously, she's involved on the show. She's known as Mama in Mama's Glorious Garden.
Yes.
She grows this abundant, beautiful. We try to showcase it as beautifully as possible in the program, but physically being in it, it's just breathtaking, and it's really labor of love for her. And so it's just massive. She goes everything under the sun, literally, and I get to go and source all my ingredients.
Yes.
Not only for the show, for the book, and just for me creating new recipes all the time. And I'm just thankful that I have her and be able to share her, with viewers of my show, and so in her garden segments that we have in the program. So yeah, I honestly couldn't be able to do any of this without her, and mean that.
That is just very, very special. We all love our mothers, and I wish I could have my mom with me at work sometime. So it must be really, really awesome for you to have that relationship with her and be able to welcome her, into your kitchen, onto the stage of your cooking platform, and really be able to incorporate her into that with her garden. That's just so amazing. And I love that you get to step outside of the kitchen and go outside into the garden and incorporate all of those fresh ingredients right from the earth into the kitchen.
Yeah, I just love it. I love being outside. I love being outdoors. We live in such a beautiful area in upstate New York, and definitely one with Mother Nature. And I get all my inspiration from the garden and from the grounds and from the farmers around here in the lake. I love the water, and so I love that was a big part for my creation of my show was that I wanted to be out and about and bring the viewers along with me, and then come back into the kitchen, kind of in and out, and not just be in the kitchen solely, because I mean, really, that's not really how you're cooking anyways. How one's cooking. You're going out and you're sourcing your ingredients. So and for me, I start with the garden first. I start with the garden and the farmers markets and the farmers, and then I go into the pantry. So so
that is just so wonderful. Yes. And so from the cooking show birthed the cookbook. So I have a copy of it right here. Thank you so much for sending me this this is an absolutely beautiful cookbook, and it's filled with so many recipes that you were able to craft yourself. So tell me a little bit about your award-winning cookbook.
Oh, thank you. It's my baby.
Yes. Just sort of a labor of love, and I feel like a culmination of, since I started nearly, coming on to 10 years, I really wanted to be able to create what I feel is the best Lebanese cookbook, and also Middle Eastern and Mediterranean. I started out with a lot more recipes, to be honest, and then, I didn't want it to be too overwhelming. And so really tried to some of, my all-star recipes, but then some other recipes that are really, from my grandmother in Lebanon, very traditional, some things you wouldn't see, not the quote-unquote popular ones, and just some really kind of hidden gems I wanted to bring into the book. And just really be, me and my story and my recipes, and every one of the recipes has a special story. And my wonderful for natural lighting, which we wanted it to just feel very real, and hopefully my soul come through the photos, which I think Alexandra did such a beautiful. She captured it very, very nicely. And you have such great authentic recipes in there. And I'm really looking forward to try making your rice pudding. I myself am Portuguese, and rice pudding is something that I make with my own mother. She's taught me how to make a traditional Portuguese recipe. So I'm really excited. I think I'm going to make it with my mom in her kitchen, something we can do together. So tell me a little bit about your rice pudding recipe and how it's special and how you made it your own.
I really came from, I really like thick and creamy rice pudding. And so I, wanted to use the arborio, the Italian short grain rice, to get that consistency and that achievement with it. So that is something that you wouldn't traditionally see, in a Lebanese or rice pudding. Tend to be a little bit more loose.
Right.
And also you find more like floral, like rose water and things like that, with a, Lebanese style rice pudding. So I loved the vanilla bean, the real true vanilla bean. So I incorporated that. And then as toppings, I have the pistachio nuts and the rose water syrup. So I kind of, twisted it a little bit and made it my own. It's still very much authentic, but I just added my own, love of other ingredients to it.
Definitely. Well, I cannot wait to try it and see, how it differentiates from, what I have grown up knowing, and be able to have a taste of another culture.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited for you to make it with your mom too.
Thank you.
It's a nice treat. And it's not that sweet. I do have a sweets chapter on dessert in my book. And, oftentimes, so many people say to me when they have my sweets, whether it's my, Lebanese baklawa or baklavas
Yes.
or phyllo doughs and all different things, they always tell me that it's not really that sweet, and that's intentional. I don't really like my sweets to be that, sweet where you can't take more than one bite, you know. So
you want to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, and the sweets we have on special occasions. It's not something that we eat like every day during the week after a meal, So they're more for, special occasions, Valentine's Day, cooking with your mom, a little sweet treat, things like that. So yeah, so I'm excited that you're gonna make it.
Yes, thank you. I'll have to let you know how it turns out. So my one last question before we wrap up with you, Julie. Some of the Mediterranean flavors that you cook with, what kind of spices should we keep stocked in our kitchen if we're going to be making a lot of these kind of Lebanese cuisines?
I love this question. Yeah, your Lebanese pantry, definitely need really good quality tahini.
Yes.
So you can make all of the maza, the hummus, and the baba ganoush, and the fete, like all these different, spreads that we have. I love za'atar or za'atar. We call that signature Lebanese thyme and sumac and sesame seed spice. Also, on that note, sumac spice,
Ooh, okay.
Which has a lemony flavor to it as well. That's in fattoush in the salad, and you can sprinkle it on eggs and a lot of other recipes. Allspice for sure, just a nice well-balanced allspice. It has a nice warm flavor to it with some of my soups and stews.
Very nice.
And good sea salt, good olive oil.
Have to have those good quality.
Lemons, because I was going to say I have a colander of lemons here. Lemons are my everything. So
put them on everything.
Not perceived dry pantry, but if you have good fresh, I use fresh lemon juice for everything.
So keep them
bottled lemon
Keep them in the pantry, keep them in the kitchen. Great spice rack, some lemons, some olive oil. You're pretty much good to go to make these really awesome Lebanese dishes.
Absolutely. And I use tons of herbs. So if
yes.
you think a little herb garden, herbs are in everything. I use fresh mint and parsley and chives, thyme. Those add a lot of flavor. So if you can get some herbs or a little herb garden going, get some inspirational spring in your kitchen. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Julie, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us all of this great insight into your kitchen and, giving us some thoughts and ideas of different ways that we can try our own authentic Lebanese cooking right at home.
My pleasure.
Of course. And again, congratulations on your awards both on the cooking show and on the cookbook. We're just really excited for you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Julie, thanks so much. And don't go anywhere because we have our second guest coming right up. We'll be back in just a minute. Thanks for tuning back in. We just wrapped up with our first guest, Julie Ann Sagir from PBS's Julie Tabouli's Lebanese Kitchen, and we are live with our second guest.
Armenian, where are you? Is she watching right now?
She might be.
I wanted to talk to you. I'm Armenian. We're close. The food is great.
It's amazing.
I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What's going on?
How are you?
How you been?
This is Billy Manzo. I didn't even get you started getting so excited.
Keep your hip close to the table so you stay in view.
You were just too much fun.
No,
you were too much fun.
I'll come like this. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so we're nice and close together.
Okay, very
good.
good.
So Billy Manzo, Federal Hill Pizza, you are just a force to be reckoned with.
Thank you.
To say the least.
It's very kind. Thank you.
Of course.
It's a lot of time.
A lot of time.
As you know, the amount of time that I've put into developing, Federal Pizza Company and doing what I felt was right.
Yes.
With just staying the course, stay in your lane.
Of course.
Remember me and you talk about that.
Yes, absolutely.
Stay in your lane and do what you do at 100%. And just, there's a side of me, as you know, that I love to do things for the community.
Of course.
Very important.
Very
and it's
involved.
pizza, man. It's fun
pizza.
food.
And it's, I think that there's nobody in the world who hates pizza. And if they do, don't trust them. There's something wrong.
They hate pizza.
If you hate pizza,
you better not hate pizza.
You can't hate pizza.
No.
No. So the first time I met you, this just really resonated with me. It stuck with me. You came out. I was in Federal Hill Pizza.
Sure.
And you introduced yourself to me, and you told me a little bit about your background.
Sure.
And how you got started, and why and how you make such a phenomenal pizza.
Thank you.
And it was the kind of thing that you're like, okay, well, pizza is pizza. It's all pretty good. But when I tried this pizza, and it's actually this specific one, the Arthur Avenue.
You knew it right away.
Which is my favorite pizza.
Thank you.
I was completely blown away.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, you're a pizzaiolo, and what that means. Share that with us.
I'm very lucky. I'm certified master. One of two in the country.
Wow.
It's very humbling. And humbling is the name of the game because there are people around the world who are just amazing. Amazing chefs.
Yes.
I mean, the word GOAT, that's been coming to
goat.
mind. Everybody's been talking about the GOAT.
The greatest of all
Yeah,
time.
the greatest. I don't believe in that.
No?
No, I believe that every person does the best job they can.
To the best of
make
their
people
abilities.
happy for what they do. Be humble.
Of course.
Try to be humble and just do a great job in what you do, like you guys do here.
Oh, thank you.
So I think the main thing for what I've accomplished, I guess, is not so much what I know, but knowing what I don't know and willing to learn what I don't know.
Always willing to learn. There's
always
so much
have
to
to
learn. There's just always more knowledge you could soak up and apply to your cooking. And this, is across the board in any capacity.
In my field, specifically with Neapolitan pizza, I'm always looking on Facebook. I'm always reading and talking to people across the world. How did you get that? That looks great. What's that? And I always feed off that. And then when I was lucky enough to go to college, and I was lucky enough to get a great education, and I used that intensity of wanting to learn in college, and I was going to go to law school at one time, to put that energy into the science of pizza. And what I've
it really is a science.
It is a science,
it
hardcore
is.
science,
And
as
you told me
we've
a little
talked
bit about this, and the approach that you take to making this pizza, and how it ends up coming out just so perfectly, just right, because it comes down to a science.
And what I did, as we've spoken about, is to take it from the historical perspective, and take it from the historical perspective, the whys, the whens, the flowers, or the farina, and where it came from, and how they processed it, and the whys and the whens, and the heat, and the different heats, from electric to gas to wood, etc.
Right.
And really, everything just, it's like a perfect storm to this particular recipe.
Yes.
God bless you back there. I feel bad, you're sneezing. So what happens is you create a perfect storm.
Yes.
And
it's the balance.
Yeah,
of
and
all of them together.
you're always very complimenting to me and saying you have the best pizza that I've ever had.
It is one of my favorites of all time.
Thank you.
Of all time.
And it means a lot to me to hear that, but I will guarantee you there's somebody in the world, if not probably closer, that's a pretty damn good product. And that's what it's about.
Of course, there's going to be great pizza everywhere.
Sure.
You go to Italy. I've been to Italy, and I've had fantastic pizza in
you're
Italy.
coming.
But this is
you and the fiance are coming.
Let's go.
The real estate guy. We're going to take.
Let's go hop on a plane and head up to Italy, and we'll go on a pizza tour. You
We're
and
going.
me. Yeah,
We're going.
awesome. So tell me about the Arthur Avenue. What makes it so special? What do you do to it that's magic that makes it taste so good?
This particular product is actually very simple, but almost impossible to perfect, because in this product there are 3.5, I laugh, there's 4 different flours in this dough.
4 different flours.
So I used 4 different flours from 4 different regions.
Okay.
Italy, out in the Midwest, one very close to us up in the Maine area, and then I use another processing company out of the Jersey, Philly area, let's say, down in that area.
Okay.
I put those flours together. I utilize my water, which is hydration, if most of you are home bakers. And then we go through an aging process in which we want to develop what's called cell structure and pH ratio, which I'll be at Johnson & Wales later on today, and I hope to meet a very cool baker there. So we're going to be talking to her about this.
Cool.
Then what we do is we have the dough, and the dough has to match the perfect heat.
Right.
Then the heat has to match the perfect Gilbani cheese that I use on this product.
Okay, so Gilbani cheese.
Gilbani cheese on this product right here, which I use their cheeses across my pizzeria, but the Gilbani cheese dragon cut, which
Dragon cut. That
the
sounds
dragon cut.
fancy.
It's a very different. It is fancy.
Yes.
It's very different. So that particular cut that I use on this product, as you can tell, none of the cheese is really burnt. You don't have that. It's still creamy, and it works phenomenal. So it's like when I make this product, or what we do at Federal Pizza Company, it's like a dance. It's like the waltz.
Yes.
Everything has to add up right.
Of course.
So the heat, the basil, we put it on after and sweat the basil. And if you see, if most of you see, which I don't want to take it up, but the pepperoni isn't oily.
No, it's not
It's
greasy.
not
You don't have to
cooked.
dab your pizza
That's
with
because
a
this
napkin.
particular product is from Sugardale Corporation, which
wow.
is by far, for me, with the temperature of this product is perfect. Because as you notice, it still has integrity.
Yes.
You see it?
Of course.
90-10, which means 90% pork, 10% beef.
Okay, so
If
it's that
you-
combination.
Yeah, but a lot of the pizzerias and a lot of the people that are watching today they're eating a lot of beef-based pepperoni.
Really?
And the reason
I
for
thought
that,
it was the other way around.
No, and the reason for that is back in the early 80s, a lot of people within the Muslim community were buying up all the pizzerias.
Okay.
They don't like dealing with pork.
Gotcha.
So you
they're
guys have been
making
dealing with a lot of beef product.
pepperoni. Wow.
And that's it.
So you learn something new, like you said. every
I'm the
day.
professor.
I guess so. Now, I love the sauce on this because it's
Thank
not
you.
just, a watery tomato
No,
sauce.
no.
You're putting like
Crushed tomato.
crushed tomatoes, chunky.
Three
it's
different tomatoes.
Flavorful. And,
Thank
something
you.
that I learned about tomato sauce is that a lot of people put tons of sugar and salt into their tomato sauce.
No,
and
no, no, no.
It makes me so
no,
sad.
No, no, no.
Bad.
These are just the tomato.
Yes.
Just the tomato.
And you season them just right.
And I'll tell you one other thing. I hope everybody's listening to this. When a tomato goes through the process of canning, it's cooked.
Yes.
So the tomato goes in a can. It gets cooked in the line. So the tomato's in the can. The can gets boiled or steamed. It's already cooked once.
Yeah.
You're going to cook it 2 or 3 more times and kill it? Let the tomato be a tomato if you're buying a good tomato.
I can see that.
That's it.
Yeah.
And if you look at the can, the sodium rations,
Crazy.
yeah.
Crazy.
So let it be. You
Astronomical.
don't need to add sugar and salt.
Just let it be its
Let
natural
it be.
self.
Let it be. And then when the
Yes.
seasons come around, then I'm down in South County picking tomatoes.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the creme de la creme.
So that's when I have to come and get another pizza.
Well, that's when
I'll
you're
get
always at
pizza
my
all year
place.
round. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's going with this product.
Yes.
And the real killer to this product and my rounds is that the amount of kids within my Chuckstone Avenue
Yes.
location, because me and Christine bought the castle.
Yes.
The inner city kids are just freaking out over this because
Because
it's
it's
such
so good.
clean.
It's so
and it's
good.
simple,
Yes. So tell me about Chefs Feeding Kids, because you
Yeah.
are huge in the community. You want to
Yeah.
be involved. You want to give back.
Yeah.
So tell me about what you're doing with Chefs Feeding Kids and how you're involved with them.
Well, thank you again. Chefs Feeding Kids was something I started a long time ago, but over the last year, as you have heard, it is starting to explode. And when I go to Pizza
Definitely.
Expo,
Yes.
coming up in March, if I'm not mistaken, I'll be announcing 2 major sponsors across the
Really?
country. Yep, we've been working
Wow.
on it.
Okay, so we have to stay tuned for
I
that.
can't announce
That's
it yet,
okay.
but a very dear
but
friend
we'll
of mine
stay updated.
very dear friend of mine in New York City took a liking to the 501c3, and he introduced it to some friends of his.
Wow.
And they jumped on board. We'll see. And I'm excited, but you know me, I just do my thing and
course.
let it ride.
Yes.
But it looks pretty good. But the kids thing at the Mount Pleasant location, Warren, we're kind of active, but the Providence location with Chefs Feeding Kids is just doing unbelievable. We have Shelly Peterson, who's running all the programs. She's doing an amazing job. We have some changes going on for the better. And we're just going to take it and keep feeding some kids in the inner city.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about what exactly Chefs Feeding Kids
Chefs
does.
Feeding Kids actually is really simple. Chefs Feeding Kids is a nonprofit that I started, and I get chefs and restaurant owners involved that want to do great things for their community.
Of course.
And when they get and do these things for their community, because we're lucky. we do pretty good stuff on social media.
Yeah, definitely.
There are other people that are not as good at it.
You're
So
helping
what?
them.
Yeah. So what they do is they do these special events either for their church groups or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Whatever their itch is,
Yes.
they do it. They take their phone, they video, take a photograph. You send it to Chefs Feeding Kids, and we have a blog.
Awesome.
And it's called Food Buzz.
Food
So
Buzz.
we talk about what's hot, what's not, what's going on in the industry, what's
Yeah.
going on in the local communities.
Of course.
We have sponsors. Again, look it up, Food Buzz. So it's actually an online blog about the food industry.
It's amazing.
And
Stay
if,
up to date with everything that's going on.
yeah, so if you, let's say a major company, maybe, maybe they want to advertise.
Yeah.
It becomes a write-off.
Of course.
And actually it's a donation.
It's a donation to a nonprofit.
So it's a donation.
Awesome.
So it's an actual, to a certain degree, it's a little bit like an advertising agency as a nonprofit.
Wow.
Because I felt that when I was going out and cooking for so many special events down in Newport or New York, a lot of these guys had so much talent.
Yeah.
Chefs, they were unbelievable. And I was
course.
like, well, I don't know about you. I've never heard of you. Well, I'm not. And I said, you know what?
gotta get the name out there.
I
You
gotta
gotta
get your
get the
name
word
out. So
out.
I think I can help you. I can help my nonprofit. And I'm dying to take care of kids within the Mount Pleasant area.
Absolutely.
And across the country,
Of
hopefully.
course, hopefully it'll spread that much more and you'll be able
it
to
will.
kind of lend the hand.
You guys will be hearing about
That's right, that's right. Well, Chef, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you bringing me my favorite pizza, and you
this
knew
is
it
yours,
was,
so
this
you got-
is my
I know.
pizza.
How
I
can I
wouldn't
not
let you
bring you
take
the
it.
Arthur?
I would not let you leave with this pizza because
Thanks.
I have got to eat it. So thank you so much
Tell
for
the
joining
other
us.
half I said hello.
Of course, I definitely will. He's probably watching. You
I know.
it, of
Find
course.
me another building.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.
You too.
Don't go anywhere because we have our third guest coming right up, so we'll be right back. Thanks so much for tuning back in. We are live here at the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center with our second guest, Chef Deshane. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Of course, Chef Kev D.
Yes.
Is what you're going by. What
Yes.
you're known as.
Yeah, Chef Kev D. I get a lot of different plays on my last name, so to shorten it and for the website, everything Chef Kev D is
Chef
great.
Kev D. I
Yep.
love it.
Yes.
Awesome. So you are the official chef of Kiel Vodka, which we love them. We just had them on not too long ago. You are a private chef, and you have years and years of experience in the kitchen. So let's start off. I'd love to hear about your story,
Yes.
your background, and how you got started in the culinary world.
So my first memories, I think, like a lot of kids,
Yeah.
either their mother or the grandmother. For me, it was my grandmother.
Yes.
In the Italian kitchen, making the Sunday family meals and the
Yeah,
gravy.
Sunday gravy.
So those memories are burned forever, and I always wanted to get back to it. And fast
nice.
forward to college days, I went to school for business down in North Carolina,
Nice.
and just always worked in restaurant kitchens.
Of course.
Worked my way up that way, worked with a bunch of really cool chefs, came back to New England, worked with some more cool chefs, became an executive chef at 28, and
wow.
then just kind of worked in all kinds of restaurants, opened my own restaurant up in Burlington, Vermont.
And what restaurant was in Burlington?
156 Bistro.
Very nice.
Beautiful open kitchen right on Lake Champlain.
Beautiful.
Did that for
Oh
a
my
couple of
goodness.
years. I was a chef at Washington Square Tavern in Boston as well.
Nice.
So all over New England, and now I have stepped out over the last couple of years into the private chef world, and I travel the country.
That is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your experiences and how it differentiates between being a chef, whether you're a restaurant owner, you're an executive chef, or, and then having that comparison to being a private chef. How does it differentiate? What do you like? What do you don't like?
The number one thing I like is I get to make my own schedule.
Absolutely.
I still work constantly and all the time, but if I need a day off or a week off or anything, I can I can work that in. I also like the freshness of it's a different group every night, it's a different menu every night, it's often a different state every night, different kitchen, sometimes it's fine dining, sometimes it's a lobster bake, sometimes it's a backyard barbecue.
So that's so cool.
So I get to
you have a little bit of influence on the menu, and you know, you're putting your own touch on things. So people might say, I want this idea, and you can kind of put your own spin on it and come up with a creative menu.
We go back and forth on the menu. I like this, I can't have this. We plug a few things in, and then we're off to the races.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about your travels. Now, as a private chef, you kind of get to go all over the place.
Yes.
And where have you been lately? Where are you going?
Most recently, I just did the Mohegan Sun Wine Fest, where I got to work with Bobby Flay again, my buddy Aaron Sanchez, Brian Duffy, all those great chefs, and a bunch of chefs from Boston, Jason Santos. So I get to do festivals like that when I get to work with the other chefs who do the same thing that I do.
Yes. And now, what was your role at the Mohegan Sun Festival?
I did a big demo on stage.
Cool. What did you make?
I made a seared halibut with a fennel marmalade.
Ooh, that sounds really
A little bit of celery root and blood orange puree. Ooh. And it went over really well.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a crowd favorite.
Huge crowds. They have a brand new expo center there, and it was like 10,000 people there.
10,000?
Yeah, it was huge.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so, I mean, I get to do festivals like that and red carpet stuff. I get to go on boats and work with celebrities and athletes, which is really cool. Most of them, 9 out of 10, have been amazing.
9 out of 10.
They're just as excited to have me there as a chef, not as a celebrity chef, but just in a dinner party, the chef is kind of the center of attention. So they're happy that I'm there. I'm happy that they're there. So it all works out great.
They're excited to try your delicious food.
That's right. Yeah.
Definitely. So tell me a little bit, about the celebrities that you've worked with or the athletes. Who is notable? Who's been your favorite to work with?
Well, obviously Matt Light from Kiel and the Patriots.
We
do a lot of events together, and he's just a fun guy. Likes all my food. Well, at least he says he does. So
I'm sure he does. Of course.
But recently, I worked with Isaiah Thomas from the Pistons.
Wow.
I did a champagne dinner with him. He has a new brand of champagne. We did some pairings together. Juliana Rancic from E!
I saw that in her Prosecco.
Yep, and Kathy Lee. I've done a Today Show a bunch of times, and I've done private events with her as well, and she's really sweet.
Yes.
And then I've done big festivals with Tim McGraw and Kevin Bacon and all those guys.
Get out of here. Wow.
So it's definitely, it stays fun for me.
That is really cool. So you are no stranger to being on camera. So this is probably like a breeze for you. You've got a lot of on-camera experience. You just mentioned that you've worked with Kathy Lee Gifford on Today's Show.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about some of your televised experiences. You've worked beating Bobby Flay, and then you've had Spike TV involved. Tell me about some of your favorites on television.
So my very first one was Chef Juana with Amber Rell. We went out to Cincinnati and filmed something out there. That was fun, but that was my first real national experience.
Definitely.
I also did Beat Bobby Flay, which I'm going back as a judge next season.
Are you really?
Yep, so that'll be fun.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
And I just got back from filming the Great Food Truck Race out in LA, season 9. We made the whole season. It was amazing. 3,000 miles in a food truck across the West Coast in Vegas and Phoenix and Palm Springs, LA, Yuma, Arizona.
Get out of here. So where did you start? 3,000 miles. Where did the journey begin?
Started in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Los Angeles, through the desert in a food truck to Las Vegas, down to Phoenix, then to Yuma, Arizona, and then Palm Springs where we were at Coachella and Stagecoach Festival.
Wow.
And then for the finals, we went back up to LA. So we did a whole circle of the West Coast.
So you had a really cool, road trip in the food truck.
Yes.
You were driving.
And the whole thing was we were New England themed, which is
you're
great.
Bringing New England flavor
out
to the West
lobster
Coast.
fritters and fish and chips and pot roast sliders and all kinds of shrimp dishes and fun, like rustic New England stuff that they can't get out there anymore. So
yeah, you're bringing lobsters and fish and chips out to the West Coast. They're like, we don't ever get this. This is so amazing.
Right. People would come up. I'm from Boston. I'm from Connecticut. I'm from New Hampshire.
They're like my favorites.
Yeah, because let's face it, nobody's from Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So everybody was like, oh, this reminds me of home. So we were very well received on the West Coast.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite televised or celebrity chef style experience?
There's so many to name. As far as like the festivals, I love doing Greenwich every year because that's a huge music scene too. It's been Tim McGraw and Train and all those big bands I get to work with and rub elbows with, which is fun for me because I'm a big music fan. I love the Sun Wine Fest. I do Vegas Food and Wine. Upcoming stuff, I'm doing a couple guest chef, like a series of guest chef events.
Wow. Headed
down to Miami in a couple weeks to do one during South Beach Food and Wine.
Nice.
At a big resort, so that'll be fun. And then right after that, I'm going to Nashville to Gavin DeGraw's restaurant, and I'm doing a big guest chef experience there. There's going to be a country artist. I'm doing a 5-course dinner with Music City Light and some tequila. It's so much fun. I get to work with the other chefs.
Makes me want to hop on a plane and come down to
You
Nashville.
totally should. We'll film from down there. Let's go.
That's
come
too
on
cool.
down.
So how does that work? You go into the restaurant, you bring your own menu, you're able to execute how you see fit.
Yeah, I kind of come up with a menu. New England-based stuff, but also for Nashville, I've worked in Nashville hot sauce and some of their drinks and kind of mold it to where I'm going to be to make it specific to them. And then I work with their chef and their staff, and I come in and I help prep, and we go through all the recipes, and I plate, so I'm very hands-on. But then I pop out between courses and say, hey, I made this lobster fritter on the Great Food Truck Race, and I got this dish from here, and, you know, that's kind of how that all goes. But it's really fun to work with the staff front of the house and back of the house at all these different restaurants around the country.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're bringing New England flavor all over the place.
I'm trying.
I love that.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what you brought with you today. You made a beautiful plating.
So I made just a little bit of blackberry jam, which I've done a lot, and people
Blackberry
seem to
jam.
love.
Sweet and tart. And
Yeah, there's only a few ingredients. I sautéed some Granny Smith apples,
wow.
then threw the blackberries in there, deglazed with a little red wine, shot of balsamic, and then a little bit of sugar, and I just let it reduce. Yep.
I wasn't expecting that.
So just 5 or 6 ingredients,
Nice.
simple ingredients, so you get the flavors of the apple and the tart of the balsamic.
Beautiful.
And with some burrata and a little bit of meats and some fruits, and you can do anything with it. You can jar it and put it on toast, use it as a cheese plate, so it's really versatile.
That's beautiful.
I've even used this in Keel cocktails as well.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh my God, that would be really good
Yeah,
in a
it
Keel
is.
cocktail.
It's excellent.
A little bit of soda water, some of that. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I'm calling Max. I'm having him make
You
me
should.
one of those. Awesome. So tell me a little bit about behind my chef coat.
This is beyond my chef coat. So this is meaning like I get to do all kinds of fun stuff out of my chef coat and stuff that I wouldn't normally be able to do if I was stuck in a restaurant. I love the restaurant business. I still miss some things about it, but I get to go on boats and work with other chefs and go to other restaurants.
You get to travel across the country, everywhere in between.
So there's like 50 recipes in there, also cocktails in here, the whole cocktail section in the middle. But then there's some short stories about different restaurants and cities that I've worked in, and then fast forward to all the TV shows and the fun people I've worked with and the private dinners. So fast forward all the way to the things I get to do in and out of my chef coat, which has opened up a whole new world.
That's just too cool.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in what it's like to be, have a glimpse into the life of a private chef, this is the book that you're going to want to read.
That's right, and it's got some great recipes. Some great folks wrote on the back. Matt Light is one of them.
Awesome.
Brian Duffy from Bar Rescue, who's another chef.
I love it.
So yeah, I mean, it's just fun, stories, recipes, cocktails, a few desserts too.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, where can we follow you online that we can stay up to date with all of your travels and all of the different events that you're going to be at?
So my website is chefkevd.com.
Awesome.
And all my social media is right on there.
Chef Kevd.
So you can find everything right there, my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Go right from the website and you can see what I'm doing.
It's going to be tough to keep up with you. You're just all over the place.
I'm trying to stay busy.
Yes, indeed.
Trying.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing this delicious-looking plate with us.
Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with our fourth and final guest. Thanks so much for tuning in. We are live here at the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center with our fourth and final guest, Nicole Aquila. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. So excited to be back.
Yes, and as two ladies, we're both engaged. Valentine's Day is coming up. You want to have that beautiful, ideal date night. So we're just going to talk about some of our favorite spots to go all over the state and, hopefully give you guys some great ideas to sit down and have a really lovely evening, with your significant other.
Sounds good because I am ready to eat.
Yes.
Most importantly, as always.
Absolutely. Now, you really think about Valentine's Day, you get that bouquet of flowers and that box of chocolates. So if we're thinking outside of the box, I really saw something cute. Instead of a box of chocolates, a box of donuts, PBD donuts, they were on last week. And they are doing these cute, it's a half a dozen, Valentine's Day themed donuts, and they're topped off with little Valentine's Day themed items like chocolate covered strawberries and shortbread cookies and different cute little sayings on them like those candy hearts.
So cute.
And just adorable. So instead of giving your loved one that traditional box of chocolates, maybe you get it at a drugstore, give them the box
donuts.
of love
Who doesn't
of
want
donuts.
donuts?
I love donuts.
I cannot get enough. And Providence donuts, PVD donuts, the best.
Amazing.
I could eat them all day.
Right. And of course, we were thinking about those luscious, really nice, intimate dinners. We had Basta on last week as well, and I don't know if you've been there, but they have a really lovely Valentine's Day evening.
Wonderful. I've been there. I haven't been there for Valentine's Day. Always get the pasta.
Yes.
Any pasta's good.
Yeah, the pasta there are all homemade. Chef Tino makes everything from scratch. But they do a really beautiful installation. It's almost like an art installation at this point, where they have a night of 1,000 roses. Ooh. And they're all hanging from the ceiling, so it's like an aromatic, rosy, fresh-baked bread smells in there. Absolutely. So it's already really gorgeous in there as it is.
It is. It's beautiful. So check it out.
Definitely. So Basta on Broad in Patuxent Village. In the city, we have Massimo on the Hill.
Love
for
it
that
there.
Classic Italian. We love Massimo.
Love it.
They've got a great selection of wines. And of course, you know Massimo.
I know Massimo. I've been there.
What's your favorite thing to eat at Massimo?
I love the squid ink pasta.
It's my favorite.
I always get it, so I'm boring. I get the same thing. I love the carbonara. Is really good. Anything with lobster there is really good. I know when you think of Italian food, you maybe don't think of lobster. They crush it every single time. And then I love the cannolis for dessert with an espresso martini.
Oh my God,
that
sounds like
having.
Okay. So I just need to write all of those down, and then when you go out for dinner on Valentine's Day, that sounds like
just
the ideal
text me.
meal.
I got you.
Yeah, definitely. So for those who might not want to be going out to dinner and they maybe want to cook at home, what do you have in mind as a good idea for that?
So we actually cook every Valentine's Day. So
I
don't go out on Valentine's Day.
You stay at home. I don't mind that. I like it.
I don't mind it. So I work in Providence, but I actually live in Boston, and it is a nightmare on Valentine's Day.
Oh my gosh!
So
trying to get in anywhere, making
not
those
great. It's a little different than here.
Okay.
I don't really know why. I feel like Rhode Island has Valentine's Day down. I feel like if you're gonna go out,
it's
in
organized.
Rhode Island,
Yes.
everyone knows what they're doing.
Good.
So I think we're actually gonna eat here on Saturday, which will be nice. Nice little family dinner. We're going to Massimo. Copy me, it's fine. And then we are going to stay in and probably I want to do something with steak. So I feel like steak is a really great date night food.
It definitely is.
It's, so delicious, it's hearty, it pairs well with, wine. So I think we're going to do a nice Barolo or Brunello. We're going to sear some steaks up, a little mac and cheese on the side.
Beautiful.
Mashed potatoes, basically all carbs and then some meat.
Yeah.
So that'll be great. And
comfort foods.
Comfort food.
That's very warming.
Perfect for me. And then just wine and maybe a movie.
Yes. Now, what have you got going on at Gasparo's that will help the Valentine's Day ideas get flowing?
Yeah, I'm actually so glad you brought that up. We're doing a tasting on Saturday, so the 9th from 2 to 4 p.m. and tasting through, I believe, about 10 wines, and these are all things that we're recommending for Valentine's Day.
Oh,
so there are some really big, sultry reds, some Prosecco that goes great with chocolate, and basically we're going to just taste you through all these wines. They're all under $30. Which is great, so you can buy them on the spot. And
maybe
then
buy a couple.
Why not? And then if you're looking for something special, our sales associates can actually walk you through, and you could say, you know what, I'm making chicken parm, and I'm not sure what to serve with it. Are any of these appropriate, or do you have something you like better? So that's what I'll be doing Saturday. Stop by, say hi.
Yes.
I can help you find the perfect wine if you're staying in.
So you can, give them some ideas about, the home style cooking, what to pair. Hopefully maybe you have a dinner menu already picked for your home cooked meal, and you can kind of give them ideas of what wines to go with.
Exactly. If not, now that you bring it up, I might actually print some recipes too for anyone who needs a little
I know, it
extra
sounds
help.
like you know how to cook
I'll be at the register. I'll be like, here, have this.
If you need some ideas, I'll slip you one.
So come in, I'll give you a recipe, we'll give you some wine to go with it.
It's
but
foolproof.
It's always good to pair. I think that's nice, and you could do a couple of different courses. You could do a salad with a nice white, your meat dish or a pasta with a red, and then finish it off, chocolate-covered strawberries, PBD donuts, some Prosecco at the end. So you could really make it a whole experience at home.
You can really make it special.
Very special.
Of course. But of course, we've got plenty of other options all over the state for those who maybe want to have that night out. If you're looking for something in the southern end of the state, or if you're trying to go down there, if you're up in Providence, I know that Matunic Oyster Bar has some really lovely entree specials, appetizers that they're doing for Valentine's Day. And if you're looking for that waterside dining, it is really just stunning.
It's beautiful. You really can't beat the views. And of course, you know, the namesake, the oysters there are always phenomenal.
Of course. And, you know, oysters are aphrodisiac. So if you're looking for those strawberries and, you know, those sultry foods that are really just, you know,
sexy food.
Yeah, so they're sexy foods. That's the best way to describe them. You know, the best oysters, you know, in the state coming from Matunic Oyster Bar. And if you sit upstairs in their upstairs dining room, get a table by the window and watch the sunset over the water.
It sounds like the perfect night.
It really
That's what
does.
I would be doing if I can make it down there.
Absolutely, definitely. But more local here in Providence, I know that the Duck and Bunny is preparing a really beautiful 7-course meal. So if you're looking to cozy up with someone.
Very cute in there.
Yes.
So intimate.
It's very intimate, you know, sitting by the fireplace. It really is called a snuggery.
Is that what it's called?
It's the Duck and Bunny. It's a snuggery.
That's so cute.
So if you're looking to get snuggled up with your loved one, you know, cozy up by the fireplace, 7-course, really, really well done menu. And they're actually planning some renovations. So they're going to be closed for a bit, I believe. So you might want to go in there.
Go now.
Perfect
Now's
timing.
the time.
Yeah, before, you know,
get your
have to miss them.
cupcakes.
Definitely. So for those who want to start their Valentine's Day morning with something fun and delicious and Valentine's Day themed, Providence Bagel is doing a really great Valentine's Day themed bagel. It's going to be dyed pinks and reds and purples, and they're going to be pairing it with some really nice Valentine's Day cream cheese.
Pretty. I can't wait. I'm going to get one of those right before I go into work.
Start your day. You know, breakfast in bed with your loved one.
Start off with a pink
bagel, or just me.
Just me by myself. I'll bring you one.
I love it. It's a good Valentine's.
Galentine's.
Oh, perfect.
My favorite day. Yes. I always send out Galentine's and get my friends little gifts.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about Galentine's. I've actually had a lot of inquiries about Galentine's Day, and you know where to go out and celebrate with your gal friends.
Oh my gosh, where not to go? So I think I love going to Federal Tap House on Federal Hill. They have like a million different beers. So it's a little more casual. You can get a bunch of fun food. So nachos, again, with that comfort food. I love that. My best friend and I used to always go to Duck and Bunny. So there we go. Another plug for that beautiful place.
Yes.
And I actually love having Galentine's at home. So I love having all my friends
having the girls over,
having wine. You can make desserts, cookies. If you're feeling adventurous, you can cook. And it's such a nice way to celebrate the amazing women in your life. So, you know, my mom and I always celebrate together.
It is so special.
It is. And it's just a nice way, even if you're single too, maybe you don't have that special someone, you have so many special people.
But you might want to celebrate the holiday, you know, or just have some fun with it.
Exactly. And it's a great way to just kind of say, like, you're my friend, I got you.
I appreciate you. I'm celebrating our friendship. It's all love. Awesome. For those who are looking for a more upscale experience, what are your thoughts on Gracie's?
So Gracie's is my go-to spot. It's actually right down the street from where we are now. So we're really close. The experience, and you were just there too.
I was.
It is so intimate and beautiful, and the food is so good. Out of this world.
Exquisite.
It is.
It really is. So if you're looking for that really refined, upscale dining experience for Valentine's Day, Gracie's, the steps of service there, not to mention the incredible menu, is going to make the evening just so very special.
Very special.
Yes. Another really amazing upscale dining option is the Cara at the Chandler Hotel in Newport. I don't know if you've ever been.
Stunning.
Absolutely gorgeous. One of the most, I believe it's been rated one of the most romantic dining rooms.
It is.
In New England.
The hotel itself is so, you walk in and it's so beautiful.
It really is. And it is situated, sitting right on top of the Newport Cliff Walk, so sweeping views of the ocean, and I know that chef there does a really amazing job of the menu on Valentine's Day. Some oysters, some Wagyu beef, really, really refined, gorgeous menu.
It's great. I would love to go there too. There are all these places I need to check off my list.
So I'm going to put together a list
later.
Yeah, and have a week-long Valentine's Day and go out to all the spots.
Exactly. That's the way to do it. People celebrate Halloween for a week. Valentine's Day this year.
Valentine's Day, it's all about, you know, indulging in delicious food with your loved ones.
Can't get better than that.
Yeah, of course. So we're about a week away from Valentine's Day. So you're thinking about where you want to go or what you want to cook at home, what wines you want to drink with it. You know, we're trying to provide you all with a list or some ideas of what to do, where to eat, and hopefully this was helpful.
I hope so. And then, I don't know, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I just want to go
now
eat.
I'm hungry, and I'm thinking I'm going to have an early Valentine's Day.
That's all I'm thinking about in my head. I'm like, food.
Yes.
And wine.
Of course. Well, thanks so much for joining
Thank
us
you
and
for
helping me
having
brainstorm some of these fun ideas of where to go with our loved ones.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Until next week, we'll see you soon.